everybody, Remrov here. I'm a classic autist who makes these videos to educate about autism and to build a bridge in between the autistic and neurotypical world, and I hope to be a voice for non-verbal people with autism. In this video, I want to talk more about non-verbal autistic people. I can imagine that quite a lot of parents and teachers who have non-verbal autistic kids, that they see my videos and they see me and they think to themselves, yeah, but it's a lot easier for you because you can talk and you can express yourself and you can communicate. And my child can't. And he struggles a lot more with everything because of that. And he has a lot more problems and a lot of meltdowns and tantrums. And he screams a lot every day. A lot of people actually think that non-verbal autistic people have a lot more problems and that they struggle a lot more with a lot of issues than verbal autistic people, but it may look like this. But let me tell you something very important. When I was just a bit younger, just a few years ago, I really struggled with language and with communicating and with expressing myself. I still do to some degree, but it's in no comparison with those years ago. I always find it very difficult to express my thoughts into words. My thoughts are there. I do have a lot of thoughts actually, but they're all in images. I'm an image thinker, just like many other autistic people. So in order to communicate my thoughts to others, I have to translate those images into words, which is extremely difficult. And often, especially when I was younger, I expressed something completely different than what I felt, and so there was a lot of misunderstandings and people misunderstood me. And even if I did find the right words, I did translate my thoughts into words, then there were so many words and thoughts that were all competing for first place. So it's just one big chaos in my own head. If you imagine a huge building with many people, and that building only has one exit, one door. And imagine a fire in that building. And all the people in that building want to get out as soon as possible. They panic, they all run to that one door. And they push themselves out of the building at the same time. What happens, of course, they don't fit through the doorway altogether, so everybody gets stuck in the doorway and in the building. And that's how it is in my head. That's what it feels like in my head. All that chaos of words and thoughts getting stuck in that doorway, in that exit where my words are supposed to go out in order to communicate to others. And when I was a bit younger, I couldn't even find that way out, that one door. Now I have found it and I can communicate easier, but when I was younger, I didn't even know where that door was, and nothing came out, or hardly anything came out. So what I did, I just mimicked a lot of other people. I just mimicked everybody, all their words. And that was a lot easier because those words didn't have to be composed in my own mind. They were there to pick up already, and they were there at the surface. So it was just easier to use the words of other people because of this. A lot of non-verbal autistic people haven't found this exit point yet where their words can come out of their minds. Or they find it too difficult in the first place to translate their thoughts into words, because a lot of autistic people are image thinkers. There are quite a few autistic people who have learned to communicate on an app, within a communication app, on an iPad or a tablet, which is a very helpful thing. And then they can see the words right in front of them and they can recognize them easier. Then they don't have to search in their own mind to find those words and to translate those images into words. Another reason why it can be very difficult to communicate, to speak, is because you have to use your voice in order to do that. And your voice is a very personal thing. Your voice is very unique. Nobody has the same voice as you do. So using your voice can make you feel quite vulnerable, like walking naked on a schoolyard, for example. So many autistic people find it easier to use a different voice when they talk, like to use a voice they've heard on a cartoon, for example. Then it makes you feel less vulnerable, especially when you say something that is quite personal. It might be easy to use a different voice. I also do that sometimes. I find it easier to speak in a different voice, or to use my hand puppets, Squirrely here, and I talk with him, and then when I say certain things, and so it feels like he's saying it instead of me, but everybody does understand that it comes from me. And so it just makes it easier that way. So actually hand puppet like this might help other autistic people as well. So even though non-verbal autistic people, they can't talk, or they wish not to speak, or it's too difficult for them, they do have things to say, they do have a voice, and they often have very intelligent things to say as well. They do struggle a lot with all kinds of issues, and often the same issues as verbal autistic people struggle with. And even though verbal autistic people can express their feelings, their wishes, their struggles, etc., it does not mean that they struggle less than non-verbal autistics with all kinds of issues. So that's why it's very important to listen to verbal autistics, autistic people who can express their issues. And it's very important to learn from them, because they are the ones who can give non-verbal autistics a voice. In my many videos, I talk about many different topics, about sensory issues, issues with sounds, food issues, and issues with clothes. And I, among many other autistics, am able to express our struggles with these, and to manage it in such a way that we can cope with it and that it's doable for us. But imagine if you're non-verbal and you can't express those struggles, and how frustrating that can be. For example, in one of my videos about clothes, I told you that certain fabric can really feel to my skin as pins and needles. And I can just take off that sweater and I can express, okay, this sweater, just throw it out, because, or we give it to the Salvation Army, because I just can't wear it, it just hurts. But if you have an autistic child who's non-verbal, and he's wearing a sweater that hurts him like that, or even a lot more, and imagine not to be able to express it and feeling trapped in a sweater that feels like razor blades dipped in sulfuric acid. Of course, that's going to result into a meltdown or a tantrum, and into huge frustration, and into maybe throw out that sweater and throw it across the room, and some things like that. So besides seeking help from experts who know a lot about autism, and doctors and or psychiatrists or other people, organizations who know a lot about autism, it's very important to also listen to verbal autistic people, because they can really teach a lot about autism, and you can use that information that they can give you about their struggles, which are often similar to nonverbal autistic people. You can use that information to help your nonverbal autistic child or student. So this was it. I hope you found it useful. If you did, give me the thumbs up, or you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also consider to become my patron on Patreon for $1 a month. You can support me with this project, and you can also watch quite some patron-only material, which is quite interesting. So, this was it. Be loved, and I wish you a great day, and we hope to see you again with our next videos. Bye!